Okay, I think we can start now. Okay. Okay, just check my screen is visible or not. Anyone reply? It's my screen is visible. Okay, fine. So as per the suggestions from the sir and last class, what happened? So what I'm going to do is I'll explain the topics first continuously so that everyone can listen first, right? After half an hour, I'll give some 5 minutes time. Then you can ask your queries. So when I'm explaining one topic, if we stuck in the topic itself, the others will lose the focus. So to avoid that, let me explain the topics first. So what you guys have to do is when I'm explaining the topics, if you get any doubt on that particular topic or on that particular example, write down in your notebook somewhere. Like if you want me to change code somewhere here and there, or if there is any alternative way to do that. So such questions you can write down in your notebook. And once I give the time for interaction, I will be able to take the queries one by one. So in that way, everyone can first listen the class, then we can take the queries. So in between the class, I don't want to unmute and it will waste a lot of time. That's the main reason. Okay, it's not like I don't want you to ask any questions. Just to make sure that all of us are involved. Correct. So only few are interacting means the others will lose the focus. So let everyone listen to the session. Then in between after half an hour, 45 minutes, we can take the queries. And at the end of the class also, those who wants to ask questions, I will give you time for interaction. 15-20 minutes, you can ask me. If you want to stay back, no issue. Okay. So I think last class we covered, uh, loop statements, if statements, branching statements, and all those things. In today's session, I'll be covering. Already I sent the models. Hope you people have gone through the models. So in that, if you are having any doubts, you can ask me in between, not an issue. So if statements, loop statements, or and basic indentation, what is the importance of indentation, all those things we covered in the last class. So today I will be talking about how to take the inputs from the user. So many of you already have done it in the model. You executed the codes, but still you will be having doubts here and there, so that you can clarify those doubts. Like generally, right, to read the data from the user, we are using the input function in the model. I mean, in the Python. Okay. So there are multiple ways to do that. So those things I will be covering one by one. Okay. So how to read the input from the user in the Python. So in the last class, there is one more thing I got to know from one of your classmate only. So see, if you are exploring topics, you can also suggest us. So there is a something called as match operator in Python. I want all of you guys to try. Okay. What is that? Match keyword. So it is an alternative to switch. So as I told you in the last class, there is no uh, there is no keyword as switch in the uh, Python. So to have an alternative, the Python has something called as match. Okay, suppose match equal to 2. You can write like this. Then case 1, you can write something here. Print. This is case 1. Then case 2. This is case 2. something like this. Something like this actually. I think I covered it in model one. It's something called as match keyword. Okay. When I didn't explore this, I want you guys to try this. So it goes something like this. I think you have to give it in the single command. Yeah. So match command name, and just like switch case, instead of switch, we have something called as match. Okay. So you have to give the command. I think there is some indentation issues. You need to be very careful. So where we are wrong, actually, I think we need to give some indentation here like this. It's not working. Why? Next, indent. Okay. So like this. So match command, I think you need to be careful about where exactly the indentation starts. So the command name is hello world. So if the matching string is there for the case, that particular case will be executed. So it's just like an alternative to switch. You guys try. I was not aware of this keyword. So earlier it was supported in 3.9 version. Some version this keyword doesn't work. So based on the compiler, if people check after match colon. Acha, okay, here I was going wrong. Yeah. What is that? Match two, right? Case one, print, follow. Case two, print, something like this. Okay. So yeah. So you should be very careful about colons and all. I think I missed this colon here. Yeah, correct. So you can explore these things, but generally they don't use this keyword. They will go for a ELF statement only, because in ELF you can have a break statement, right? It can be used inside the break. Here you can't use this inside the break. So based on your convenience, you can refer anyone. Okay. So anyway, fine. So let me cover quickly this topic. So today, input functions, slicing in Python, and the more important topic, you please inform your friends also to join quickly, because I'm seeing very less participants today. I'm going to cover data structures in Python, which are very important for future classes also. Uh, the problems that I'm going to put in Moodle are, most of the questions will be based on data structures in Python. So you are already learning a lot of data structures, right, in the subject. So apart from that, what kind of data structure Python supports, that I will be discussing. So please tell your friends to join soon. Limit is only for 100 parts. Is this? No, it is for 1,000. Okay. No, that is not possible. Just a minute, I'll check. Okay, just be on the call. I think they are reduced it to 1,100. Just wait for 5 minutes. Actually, it is 1,000 students login. Thank you for making. Okay. Just be on the call. Don't exit. I'll just inquire what is the issue so that others can also check. I just tell your friends to wait. I might share another link. Okay, guys, this company people have changed the configuration, so they will allocate participants in some time. So whether it is same link or different link, I'll tell you. Meanwhile, you can just take rest or practice. Or let me take any questions from you guys if you have any doubts. Yeah. So if anyone have any doubts, you can just talk. You can unmute yourself and you can ask the queries. So are you solving the problems in model? Yes, ma'am. Okay, okay. So yes, ma'am. Thank you. Yeah, now I can see. Okay, guys, inform your friends to join with the same link. So yes, please inform in your sections. My WhatsApp is flooded with more than 50 messages asking about the class. So I can't reply everyone. Okay. So I think we can continue. Please ask them to join through. Okay, fine. So in today's session, as I told already, we're going to cover about input functions, slicing topics, and the most importantly, the data structures supported in Python. Okay. So please remember that module 4 and 5, which I already shared, I think, module 4, module 5 I'll share you today. So those topics are most important in Python because a lot of questions, a lot of problems you can solve only when you understand basic syntax and rules of data structures supported in Python. Okay, that I will take some more time to explain. So if you have any doubt at any time, please ask me, no issue. Okay. So before that, I just want to revise about this input function because a lot of people still have some doubt. Okay. So basically, as you know already, input is an alternative to scanf in the Python. Okay. It is used to read the data from the user. But by default, you should say by default, input function reads the data in string format. So that is most important. You need to remember that. So whatever the data you are entering, suppose if you enter 1, 2, 1, 2, 3 or float value or or any string value, by default, the data will be read in the integer string format. So your job is to convert the data into the required format in which you want to solve the problem later on. Okay. So that is most important. By default, if you print, the data will be the string value. Okay. So that's why you see when I'm entering the name, I'm not converting or typecasting it into anything because the name is by default integer. But when I'm entering the number, right? When I'm entering the number, I am converting that into int. So this is called as typecasting. So based on whichever data type you want to convert it into, you have to attach that particular format. So here I want to convert that into integer format. So I am typecasting that input data into integer format. The syntax is very simple. You should use int, opening bracket, closing bracket. In that you should write the input function. So what will happen if I don't do this? So for example, I am not using that typecasting. So let me read the data. So I'll enter the data. Now I'm entering the number. So see the error. What is happening here is I'm getting an error. Why I'm getting the error? Because after entering the number, I'm trying to do some operation here. I'm adding that VR with 200. So what is error I'm getting? Can only concatenate str to str, not int. So basically what it is trying to say is it is trying to concatenate var plus 200. So plus means concatenation, you know already in the last class we discussed. You can concatenate two strings with the help of plus. So here if you want to add the input data with 200, the compiler is not able to understand what is the data type of var, right? It is by default, it is string. So it is not able to add that. So that is why when you read the input data as a number or any floating point value, it's your job to typecast first. So now if I typecast that into integer, right? So I can easily able to do the operation, right? So I'm getting the output here, 245, 200 plus 45. So that is the importance of typecasting. So please remember that syntax. Next thing is there is something called a split function. Okay. Split function. So as I already told you, just I will repeat once again. So the queries I will take after half an hour or 45 minutes. In between, let us not discuss and waste time in between. So at the end of some topics covered, right? After that, I'll take the queries. So till that time, I want everyone to listen to the class, write down any doubts if you're getting in a notebook and ask me later on. Okay. So continuing with split function. So this is also very important. Why split function is required? Because sometimes I don't want to enter data line by line. I want like first I'll enter 10, then I'll enter 20, then I'll enter 30. I don't want to do this. So for this, what I should do, I should write 3 separate input functions, right? So which is again a waste of time. So what I want to do is I want to enter all the data on the same line, right? Then I want to segregate these values into different variables. Okay, so that can be done using split function. So a split function basically helps you to read the data in the same line and store them into the separate variables later on. So I have given some examples here so that you understand. First, I've taken the string here. Then I will talk about the other data types to make you understand what is split function. So here the data is welcome to GRIET. It is a string data by default. Okay. So then in the next, what I'm doing is I am writing var dot split, var dot split. I'm not passing any parameter, and that data I'm storing in X. Okay. You can see the output. Immediately I'm printing the text value. So what happened here is this welcome to GRIT has been splitted into three values, right? So it is called as a list. I will discuss about what is list in the next topic. But basically, split function will divide the data and convert that into a list of independent values. So how it is splitting here based on the space. If I'm not passing any parameter here, by default, it considers space as the splitting parameter. Okay. So wherever space is there, until that first space, that will be considered as a first variable. Then two is another data, grid is another data. So it is a basic one. Now in the second one, what I've done, I've passed a parameter here. Here I have not passed any parameter, but in the second code here, for the split function, I have given hyphen as the splitting parameter. Along with that, I have given one. So what is this one you need to understand? So this one will tell you about this maximum split value. Maximum split value. Basically, it is as simple as this. So there are 100 students. Okay. So how many division you want to do for those 100 students? Whether you want to do a division of 10 students, or whether you want to division of 50 students each, or whether you want to do a division of 30 in that way. So this maximum split value parameter will indicate how many number of divisions you want to do in that particular data. So here one I have given. So what is that one indicates? So when the compiler finds the first hyphen, so where is the first hyphen? Here, correct? So up to here, this particular data, this will be considered as a one value, and all the remaining data will be considered as the remaining value. So how many splits I have done? Only one split. So if you give the parameter as one, your output will be a combination of two values. So let us change this split value to 2 and re-execute this. So now what happened? This is considered as a one value. This is considered as a second value, and this entire thing's remaining value is considered as a third value. So that is the importance of split value. How many categories of data you want to split into, that can be mentioned in the split value. So please remember that. So split has a two parameters. One is a separator, another is a maximum split value. So what is the job of the separator is? It tells you what is the split criteria. What is the split criteria? For example, in the 100 students, I want to divide based on, for example, girls and boys. So that's the split criteria will be gender. So here the split criteria will be gender, and maximum split value you can give it as 20. That means 20 groups of boys and girls has to be separated in that way. So it accepts only two parameters. So that is the split importance of split function. Now this question is very important. How to take multiple inputs using split function? As I told you, I don't want to enter like this. I don't want to enter 10, then name, then marks separately, right? I want to enter all this data on the same line. Okay. I want to enter all this data on the same line, and I want to use only one input function. I don't want to use multiple input function. So this can be done with the help of split function. So here what I've done, I am using input function. I'm asking user to enter the values. After that, dot split. Again, here I've given it as an empty criteria. That means I have not given any specific character for a split criteria. So what does this split function will do is, based on the space, that means you have to enter all the values with a single space. Okay, with a single space. So what I've entered the values. So something I've written here. Name I've entered as add. Age I've entered as a 32, some phone number. Okay. Then, so what is the next thing? I want to store them into independent variables. So this add will get stored into name. This 32 will get stored into age, and this phone number will get stored into phone, this particular variable phone number. So in this way, you can read multiple data in the Python with the help of a single line. So this is the importance of split function. So it is this question you will get in a lot of problems. So please solve more problems based on the split function and understand how to use it. So what is the importance of split function? If somebody asks, your answer should be to read multiple data in a single line. Okay. And to give the split criteria also. Now here, what is the problem we are facing here? Okay. So here I am entering name and marks. Okay. I am entering name and marks. So obviously name is a string data. Marks is an integer data. Then I am storing that name into X, marks into Y. Right. So as I told you already, input function reads the data in the string format. So obviously, when for name, it is getting stored in X, I don't have any problem. But marks is getting stored in Y, but it is getting stored in the format of string. Then in the future, if I want to use this variable value Y, what is my first job? First, I have to convert this Y into integer, right? So first I'm printing X, right? So there is no problem here when I'm printing that X value, okay? So I'm getting as it is. But if I print this line, okay? Same thing I explained already. So I'll enter GRIET and mark something like this. So you see what is the error we are getting? Type error we are getting. Why we are getting this type error? Because in this line, I'm trying to multiply, add that Y with 100, but Y will not be integer data. So my first job is to convert this Y into integer data. So that I am doing with the help of typecasting. So what is the typecasting I'm doing? Y I'm converting into integer. Again, I'm getting storing that into Y only. Int of Y equal to Y. So this Y is now considered as a integer data. So you can delete this, re-execute. You can see I'm able to get the correct answer. So this is the importance of understanding how to convert the data based on the requirement. So generally we tend to forget this when we are solving bigger problems. So make sure the integer data is stored as an integer value. String data you need not to convert. And again, float data in the float format. So in that way, please understand the importance of typecasting. So here in this example, what I am doing, in the previous example, I didn't give the split criteria. Here I've given the split criteria as comma, and I want to split the entire data into two values. Okay, so two values. So what is the values I've entered? 123, 43, and 45. So 123 will get stored in A. Then again, I have to use the comma here. If I don't use the comma, this entire value will be considered a single value because the criteria I have given here is comma operator. So let us verify this. For example, I'll write like this: 123, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, space 90. Then I'll write comma. Then I'll write 78. So what is happened here? 123 is stored in A, but you can see this is not a number, right? So it is there is a problem here. So you should be very careful because you've entered a space and there is no space I've given as a criteria for splitting. But what is the criteria? Comma operator. Then at this point, it is dividing into B value. Then lastly, 78. So you should be very careful when you give the split criteria, in that particular format only, you should enter the input value. For example, I change here as a at, okay, then I will re-execute. So I'll write like this: 123 at 456 at 567 at. Now you observe this also. How much value I've entered? I've entered 123 at. So this 123 is getting stored in A. Then after it, 4546 in B. But why it is not solving here? Why it is considering 567 at 1234? Why not it is storing only 567 in C? The reason being, what is my split value? Maximum split value? 2 only. So what does the 2 indicates? It will split at max with this particular character 2 times. It won't go beyond 2 times, right? Suppose if I change this into 3, again what you need to do? 123 at 456 at 12345, something like this. Now you will get a problem. So what is the problem I'm getting? I've mentioned the split value as 3. That means first data, second, third, fourth, right? So I want 3 more extra values from the input. But how many variables I have here to support that these many values? Only 3. So that's why what is the error you are getting? Too many values to unpack. Too many values to unpack means you want to divide them into multiple variables, but there are no supported variables to store them, correct? So what you need to do now in this type of errors, unpack errors, you should make sure that there are enough variables to store the data. So now A, B, C, D, I've given one more variable here. Then I'll print that here. So re-enter the data. So in this case, I'm not getting any error because maximum split criteria is 3. So this 12 will get stored in A, 34 in B, 456 in C, and 678 as D. So you should be very careful how many data you are asking user to enter and whether that many variables are supported in your code or not. So this is a common mistake we will do when we are taking multiple input from the user. So split criteria is important, and how many split values you are doing, that many variables should be there here, okay, to support that. So basically 3 means 4 variables, 4 means 5 variables. Why 3 means 4 variables? First original data, that data is divided into 3 more values, correct? So totally how many variables you require? 3 plus 1, 4 variables you require. So this is important concept. It is also called as unpacking, okay? So you can write down for your reference, unpacking. Okay, unpacking multiple data. So hope you understood. So if you are having any small doubts in this case, please write down somewhere. And when I give you a chance to ask the queries, please ask me, no issue. So moving on to the next one. I think this also I told you in the last class. Please explore Python modules, right? There is an inbuilt module called as math. Math module is very important. I've given here only few examples, but along with this, there are n number of modules. You can calculate sine values, cos values, the radian values. So for all of the functions, you have an inbuilt for all those problems, you have an inbuilt functions to do it. So the module name is import math, math.py, math.factorial, right? Just by using this factorial, you are able to calculate the what is the factorial of 120. Then ceil function, floor function, then there is GCD. So it will give you GCD of 4 and 12, right? Which is 4. You can also calculate log value using log function. So a lot of if you are doing mathematical problems, solving mathematical questions, you need to aware of math module. Okay, explore all the remaining functions which are available in math. I've given only few examples here. Okay. So basically Python, what it is doing is it is simplifying our job. See, math.factorial is basically the background process is C only, right? So some people will ask me, sir, when Python is that much flexible, why we need to learn C? Why can't we directly learn C in first year, Python in first year, first sem? So many people might be getting this thought, right? So you should not think in that way. Basically, Python is making our job easier, but Python, how it is making our job easier also you need to know, correct or not? So who is doing this factorial process backside? The background process intern is done by C language only. Okay. So in the first class, I told you, what is from which language Python is created? Python is created from C language only. So you can't ignore C. So today, tomorrow, and forever, C is the mother of all the languages. So please remember that. We are just using foundation as a C and we are making our job easier. Okay. It doesn't mean that C is old, it is outdated, and only new languages we have to learn. Nothing like that. So if you don't know how to calculate the factorial manually, trace line by line, then there is no point of learning. So C gives you that background process knowledge, how internally loops are working, how comparisons are working. So that is in turn is minimized, converted into package, and that we are using in Python basically. Okay. So for example, if you have a quick sort, merge sort, selection sort, all these things are doing sorting only. But in data structure, what you are learning? You are learning the background process. But in Python, you are just simplifying them and using them as it is on the code. Correct. So please understand, import data structure is very, very important. It is not a coding subject. Data structure is not a coding subject. Data structure is a mechanism, right? So it tells you how to do the things manually. So how the swapping works, how the number of operations are calculated, and how, based on the number of operations, you can decide which is the best sorting, right? Which is the best performing as per the time complexity. All those things you are understanding in data structure. So if you know the data structure, you know the background process. If you know the background process, you know which function to use in Python. So it is all things are connected. Okay. So don't have that secondary thought about other languages. Whatever language you are learning, learn it. No use, no problem. but it's not like other languages of no use. Okay, so every language has its own importance. Then there are some questions I think I gave in the Moodle based on how to create multi-line strings. Okay, so multi-line strings you can create based on using this backslash parameter, double quotes, and this will be considered as a single string. Though you are writing on a separate line, but in the output you can see that it will come in a single line only. That is one way. So another way is without multi-line, without backslash character, you can do it with the help of 3 double quotes. Okay, so this is also possible. So these are all basics. Okay. Okay, so the next topic that is very important is slicing, and I've already posted string-based questions in Moodle. Most of the questions have the slicing concept, so please understand slicing and try to solve those problems. So basically, what is slicing? Why it is important? All those things we are going to learn. Okay, so slicing means basically, right, in general dictionary word terms, when your mom or dad ask you to cut some vegetable, so how you cut? Do you cut it to only 2 pieces, or you will cut into a number of parts? So basically you call that as a slicing, right? So slicing is basically cutting the data into a number of parts, then accessing them individually, right? So here slicing is very important topic to understand how to access the elements from the data structure, okay, one by one or based on my requirement. So there are 2 ways of slicing in Python. So as you can see, this is a diagram. You can consider that this is an array, for example. So you know that array starts from 0, right? So there is a forward slicing and a backward slicing. So in the forward slicing, the index starts from 0 and it goes in the incremented order like 1, 2, 3. But in the backward slicing, the index starts from -1 and goes into the negative values, right? So -1, -2, -3, -4. So please remember, in the backward slicing, it doesn't start from -0. It starts from -1. There is no -0 or something like that. Okay. So if I want to access the data in the forward direction, I should be using the positive values. Backward direction, if I want to access, I can use negative values. And if I want to combine both also, it is possible. Okay. So I'll be explaining this. Understand, listen carefully. So what is that slicing? I have given the definition. You can return a range of characters in a string or from a data structure using slicing. But what is the syntax? You have to specify the start index and end index separated by what? Colon. So that colon is very important. Without colon, you can't do the slicing. So start index, end index, colon to indicate the range of slicing. Basically from where I am starting and up to which character I have to go. That is slicing. Okay. So here, in this diagram, say for example, I will give the slicing syntax like this. I will give 2:6. So this is my slicing parameter, slicing criteria. So what does this indicate is 2 as a starting index and 6 as the terminating index. So starting index means you will be accessing the data, including this second index. So what is the data in my second index? What is the data in my second index? T. Correct. So I'll start printing from T. So in my output, first character will be T. Then I'll go in the incremented order. So next I'll print 3, third value. What is the third value? R. So I'll print R. Then fourth value is I. Fifth value is N. So TRIN. Then the terminating index we won't consider. So it is called as a dead end. 2 to 6, not including 6. Okay. Including the starting index, but excluding the ending index. So you should be very careful with that. So I'm starting from second index and going up to 6, not including 6. So what will be my output? TRIN. So this is called as slicing. So with this concept, I've given a lot of examples. So one by one, we can discuss. Okay. So take this example. So my input data is what? GRIT. So what is the syntax? So you should obviously pass what is a variable or the list or set that you are using. So here, what is the variable name? str. Str I have to mention first, then bracket, square bracket, then starting index, colon, ending index. So what is my starting index? 1. So that means 0 is G, 1 is R. So I'm printing from R, then going up to 4. That means 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Fourth character is T, but I'm not printing T on the output. You can see only R, I, and E is printed. Okay, so that is called as slicing. Then in the second example, str of, here I have not mentioned the starting index. So please understand, if I don't mention the starting index, so what will be by default? By default, it will be 0. If I don't mention the starting index, by default, it will be considered as a 0th index. Guys, I'm audible. Okay, there is a sudden power cut here. It's raining outside. Okay. I'm just connecting with my mobile phone. So let me say how much time will work. Fine. So what I was talking, so you can exclude the starting index, not an issue, or exclude the ending index, not an issue. So here I am printing up to 3, not including 3. So 0, 1, 2. So I'm getting the output as GRI. That is 0, 1, 2, not including E, because E is a third character. It won't be considered. Third index, basically. Then here I have excluded the ending index. This one I'm accessing from the backside, from the reverse. From the reverse means, so my input is right. So what is my reverse index first? -1. Sorry. So this is -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. Correct? So I'm starting from -2. That means I'm starting from -4 here. What is my starting index? -4. So what is -4th value? R. So R will be printed on the output. Then what is my ending index, terminating index? -2. -2 means should I include 2 on the output? -2 index on the output? No. So I'll be printing only up to I. Correct? So that is the importance you need to understand. So you first write down in the reverse order what are the parameters. Once you know the index values, start from the starting index -4, which is R. Then I'll go in that incremented order. See, incremented order means obviously will go in like this only, but you are using negative index. Okay, you are not coming in the reverse direction. There is a way to do the reverse index also. I will tell you. Okay. So -4, then in the incremented order, -+1, -3. I'll go up to I and I'll stop here. So in that way, you can solve a lot of problems using slicing. So am I audible? Just to confirm, because I'm using mobile data. Is my network stable? Okay. If there is any break in my voice, please let me know. Okay. So there's a single colon slicing. So there's a of double colon slicing also. So colon slicing are most important. You'll be getting a lot of MCQs and all those questions based on double slicing. Okay. So what is the syntax of double colon slicing? Here, obviously, you need to use 3 parameters when you have colons, right? Colon. What is the first colon? Here, starting value you should mention. Then the second criteria is terminating value, obviously. So suppose if I write 5 here, that means I have to go from the first index up to 5, but not including 5. Then what is the third character? Third parameter, increment step. Increment step. Increment step, suppose if I mention 1, by default, it is like a single colon slicing. So it doesn't make any sense. So I can update here. It is just like for loop, okay? In for loop, you write I equal to 0 and plus, right? So by default, I plus means incremented by 1 position. The same thing if I write I plus equal to 2. So how does the increment process happens? It will jump by 2 places. So you can mention the jumping, how many jumps you want to do in that particular array or in that particular string. So that is called as double slicing. So in that concept, you can see this example. So what I have written here, string good vibes only. This is example. So what is my starting index 2? So what is my starting index 2? What is the character in the index 2? So 0 is G, 1 is 0, O, 2 is O, right? So that means I'm printing the output from 2. That's why first character I got in the output is O. Then after this, what the compiler will do is it will check the increment step, right? Increment what I've given here is 3. That means I have to print the third character from this particular position. So after 2, I have to shift by 3 positions. So D will be skipped, the space will be skipped, right? Then what is the third character? V, right? So third character from that particular position. D will be skipped, space will be skipped. The third character is V, so that's why I got in the output V. Again, after getting the output from V, again what I have to check? I have to skip 3. I have to print the third character from that particular position. So 1, 2, 3, right? I'll be printing E. That's why in the output I'm getting E. But why it is stopping only at that point? Because in my condition, stop condition, I've given as 9. So what does that 9 indicates is the terminating index. Though I have extra data here, I don't want this. Okay, I want only the data starting from 2 up to 9th index and in the incremented step of 3 jumps. Okay, that's why G is getting printed. Sorry, not G. O is getting printed, V is getting printed, and D is getting printed. After that, we are stopping. So this remaining data, we are not at all considering. So this is called as double colon slicing. So please remember, first you need to mention the starting criteria, then stop criteria, then the jump criteria. You can give 2, 4, 5, whatever you want, based on what is your process. Okay. Then there are some more functions in the string. I want you guys to explore more functions. Here I've given some functions which you require more often in every kind of problem. So the simple problem that you will find is converting the data into uppercase. So you see most of the applications, website, whatever you're filling, suppose if you're entering the data by mistake in the lowercase letter, automatically your data is stored in the uppercase letter in their background servers. So this is the most important requirement. So you can convert the string data into uppercase using the function. Again, it converts a dot upper means it will convert the given variable into uppercase data. Then if you want to replace certain text in that particular string, so you want to replace code with a capital letter. So this is the data that you want to replace, and this is the alternative data that you want to replace with. Okay, so these are basic that you require more of. Then you can concatenate two strings with the plus character, which we have already seen in the last class. Suppose you want to count how many times that particular value is repeated in my data. For example, I want to check, see here, a dot count u. U is a one word which is existing in this particular table, right? So how many times this u is repeated in my data, I want to check. So you can use the count function. So here one time and here another time. So these are all some of the most used string functions that you require. Okay. So not only this, okay, limit is not just this. I want you guys to try more and more inbuilt functions in the string functions. Then there is some formatting also. It is there. You can do this output with the help this ljust, rjust. For example, if I replace this with rjust, so the data is right justified. Right justified means it will start reading from right side. How many characters are there in my data? 5 characters are there. So it will read 5 characters, and remaining characters it will fill with colon. Okay. So these are all simple string-based questions you might get. Enter, there is one function, right? Center. Okay. So what is happening with the center? It will try to put the data exactly there. Then left side and right side, it will fill up with the characters I have given. So colon I have given. So left side and side is attaching colon and then it is printing the character. But what is this 10 indicating is 10 is indicating the total width of the data. Right? It can't go beyond. So reserved limit is 10 characters only. Your string cannot exceed the 10 characters. Understand? So these are some of the important concepts based on strings, right? Slicing. So explore this and try to solve that string-based questions which are already uploaded in more. My voice is breaking. Is it still breaking? Hello. I think it's because of the network. We should just wait. Okay. So I'll just start a poll based on whatever I discussed. Before I start the poll, I'll just tell you the next topic before I go to the poll. Okay. Just a minute. Okay. So the next topic that I'm going to start before after the poll is data structures in Python, inbuilt data structures. Okay. So what are the types of data structures we have in Python is list, tuple, set, and dictionary. Very, very important. You please mark it as important. Write down somewhere or make a note attached to your wall in your bedroom or somewhere until you are perfect in all the concepts of these four data structures. Okay. Because lot of questions from this only. If you don't know foundation of list, tuple, set, dictionary, Python 100%. So this is the most important topic in Python, we can say. Okay. Right? So how many types of data structures are there? List, tuple, set, and dictionary. So before I start them, I will just try to start a poll so that you can just have a. I just want to check your knowledge, how much you have learned. Simple questions. One question is repeated, which I already given in the last session. So you can try it. There's no last session. So question is repeated. Those who answered it, you can rethink again and do it. Those who didn't answer, you can try it by yourself. Okay, be ready for the poll. I'm launching the poll. Okay, so just putting question, I'll give you 5 minutes, more than 5 minutes, because most of them are quotes only. Think and answer. Just do it by yourself. You can always learn it later, but at least try on your own. Guys, try the poll. Most of you are not trying. Just try to solve the poll questions. So I'll try to solve your doubts about previous poll questions also. If you have anyone have doubt in the previous poll answers, we can discuss. Just five to six questions, not more than that. Submit button is not active. I think because of network issue. Okay, anyway, just note down your answers. I will clarify them. I'll keep it open for another 2-3 minutes. Most of you are participants, but most of you are not active. That's what we can understand from poll questions. So all these things we will see in the consider, okay, for a few, how much your involvement is very important for us. We are conducting, you are joining, and you are exiting. Again, we are rescheduling, you are joining. So it is not going to help anyone. How much you are involved in the session is most important. Okay. Submit button is working after answering the all questions. Okay. So please answer all the questions, everyone. One 173, 179, 180. 180 people have answered. Remaining people are in vacation mode, I guess. CRs, please inform your classmates, okay? Whether they are attending or not, it's not an issue. At least they have to fill the form. If all the students have not filled the form, we will take whoever have filled, based on that majority, we will take the decision, okay? So to have the proper analysis, we want everyone to fill the form. Make sure your friends have filled that form about online classes in summer vacation. So basically, just it will be an alternative day. We are not going to conduct every day, and it will be just one and a half hour session, so that you people can utilize in some way. I know everyone want to have that break. We don't want to trouble you every day. So based on your time convenience, we can decide. So right now we thought of the same time, but based on your suggestion and feedback, we can have it on the suggested time according to you. Okay. Fine, I'll just end the poll. I think we have given too much time. Okay, so just to go through with this poll answers. Most of you have given the answer as second one, NOHTYP. Okay. So in this question, first question 86, second one 109. So can anyone unmute yourself and tell me what is the right answer?
First option.
First option.
First
options.
First option.
So how many colons we are using? 2 colons we are using. So it comes under the double slicing concept. Okay. So will be there. Okay. So -1 starting first string, then go write on all the indexes. So I'm starting from -1. That means I'm starting from here n. Then I'm going up to -6. So -6 means this is -2, -3, -4, -5, -6. That means excluding the stop condition. So I already told you clearly, stop condition means whatever it will be, whether it is positive index or negative index, excluding that. So excluding P, I have to go in the reverse direction and I have to print. Okay. And the incremented position is 1 only. So I'm going in the reverse direction. So -1 plus -1 is -2. Again, -2 -1 is -3. So in that order, I'm going in the reverse direction, excluding P. So the correct answer is NOHTY. So these are all small questions, but you'll see the confusions will be there initially. Then the second one, what is the answer for this second one? Anyone? So here majority is there. Okay, so the second one, the correct answer is triple R. Because what you are trying to do, you are first accessing the index of first index. What is the first index character? R. Then multiplying that with S dot index of E. That means you will first find the index of E. What is the index of E? 0, 1, 2, 3. So that means R is multiplied by 3 times. So what is my final output? R into 3 is triple R, basically. Okay. So you can type this and execute and see. So here a lot of mistakes are there in this question. Anyone tell me what is the correct answer?
Type error.
Type error.
Most of you have given the answer as syntax error. So in Python, we have a lot of different errors. Okay. In C, we had only 2 errors. One is syntax error, another is logical error. Okay. After that, we didn't have any errors. But in Python, we will get a lot of errors: indentation error, type error, name error, value error. So I want you guys to write down these errors whenever you make the mistakes. It's not a problem if you get error in the code, okay, when you type. But when you get error, immediately you write down the error and remember that error all the time, so that next time if you repeat, you know what kind of error you got. So the correct answer for this is neither syntax error, not type error, but name error. Okay. So what is name error? Suppose if I type that code, subject equal to Python, right? That's what I told. Then I'll print. So what is error I'm getting here? Name error. So basically, you know, for any data that you are attaching, if it is a string, you have to put it in the double quotes or single quotes, right? Here I didn't put single quotes or double quotes. So by default, if you don't put any string in the quotes, it will be considered as a variable or a name. So there is no variable defined as Python is what the compiler is saying. So please make sure when you are specifying string, put them in the single quotes or double quotes. Then the fourth one. So this one I didn't teach, but I just now told you what are the inbuilt data structures in the Python, or they are also called as inbuilt data types. Don't get confused. They are called the data types also, collections also, basic collections also, or data structure also. You can use the term. So which of the following is not a core Python data type? See, everything int, float, char, all this are also data types. Sets, class, tuple, dictionary. These are also called as data type. But class is not a data type. Okay. Class is not a data type. It is a user-defined data type, not a core data type. User-defined are set, tuple, list, along with that dictionary. Dictionary I didn't include here, but the answer is dictionary. So this one I think I had already given in the last session. So given the string GRIET Python, how do you fetch and print only Python from it? Using what? Slicing. You have to use the slicing concept here. So what is that correct code in this? Most of you answered here. So you people are good in slicing. So see, if you try, definitely you can be perfect in that. So I am starting from sixth index. So sixth index is P. Then I didn't give the terminating index. It is not necessary. No? I want to print up to end. So no need to mention the terminating index. But if you want, you can mention the terminating index. But based on the question, you need to be very careful. Suppose if you're reading the string from the user, so every time it is not GRIET Python. No? Sometimes it can be GRIET Python subject, GRIET Python CSC, something like that. So there, in that case, you don't know what is the ending index character. It can be 20 also, 30 also, 100 also. that time you can leave it as empty so that it will go up to the dead end. So whenever the dead end comes, till that time it will use. So leaving the end index is just like you have purchased the ticket, bus ticket from starting destination, but you don't want to purchase the destination ticket. You will tell wherever the bus stops, you give me that ticket. So it's as simple as that. And the last question, what is the last question? What will be the output of this code? So most of you people have given the answer as error. Okay. So again, what kind of error it is? Anyone?
Type error.
Type error.
Is it type error or
Type-
syntax error?
Type error.
Type error.
Yes, sir.
So for just to make sure that I want you to understand what type of error. So I left it as empty. Okay.
Tax.
So let's type and verify. So Python plus 1 plus 2 plus 8. So what is the error I'm getting? Type error. So why it is a type error? Anyone?
For string, we are
Because of different data.
So plus operator when you are using, okay, you cannot combine string and numbers with the plus operator. You can do plus to do the arithmetic operation, but if you want to combine string with another string, you have to put them in the bracket again. So you can't put it like this combination of string values plus float values plus integer values. So it is called as a type error. What is the error name? You can only concatenate string to string, not int. So basically it is trying to say that combine Python with 1 to 8, but it is not possible. So it is not recognizing this type of syntax. So all these are small codes only, small questions only, but you need to be very thorough in the fundamentals. Okay, these kind of questions only you will get. Nobody will ask you to write like 100 lines of code. They will test your basic knowledge, how strong you are in your foundation, syntax errors, indentation, right? So all those things, please see, even we make mistakes, but ultimately you should keep practicing the programs until you know that if I get error, I should be able to solve it. So all these things are important as a starting point foundation. Like this, I'll be adding some more questions, but still many people are not attending. Yeah. So pointer for string again, people are exploring more. That is good. But what I'm trying to say is at a basic level, if you know this much, it's more than enough. Okay. So I think we can wind up for day. In the next session, please don't miss the session. Whenever, I don't know when we will be conducting the next session, but tell your friends, next session is most important. Okay. So what I'm going to cover in the next session is inbuilt data structures. Guys, is it audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if you want, you can practice. I already uploaded the material. If you are if you are able to understand, try it, then it will be easy for us to clarify the doubts. Okay. So please tell your friends not to miss the next session. If you miss the next session and attend the future session, there is no use. I'm telling you. It is just like you are coming to the theater to watch climax. You missed the most important point, right? Story you missed. It's just like that. Please understand, inform your friends to not to miss the next session whenever we are conducting, whether we conduct in the summer vacation or after that or before that, I don't know. But until that, be excited, go through the modules, explore whatever I have sent it. If you are able to understand, well and good, or else attend the session, clarify your doubts. So right now, the remaining people can exit. If anyone have a doubt, please ask me, whatever topics I covered till now. Yes, the recording is available. I think I'm just sharing you the link in the message. Yeah. You can go through this link, or you can just type Arun Kumar without space. You'll get it. And see, if you want to follow the recording, how many of you saw that I uploaded in the Moodle already? Anyone knows that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Please be check the Moodle content properly. I am not missing any a small way also to make sure that you are learning. Okay. So in Moodle already I am uploading everything that is possible from my side, along with the information what we covered. So if you just click on these links, you will go to the YouTube link. Okay. You can just follow it up and practice. But my suggestion, try to install this Jupyter notebook and do it. You'll get a lot of interest. Instead of depending on online compiler, you can have your own system. And please, you're already in the about to go to the second year in another 2-3 months. So have your own laptops. You'll get, you can assemble it. You can assemble it within 15-20,000 or so. So if you're not able to purchase the laptop, you can assemble as desktop in your home environment only. So until you have your own system start working, you can't have an interest. Okay. So please do that. Many people are telling me, sir, we want to learn, but we don't have laptop. I can understand the other reasons and all, but when you come to engineering, it is more fundamental. Even I didn't have, but we made sure that I get the laptop. Okay. So how to count? Yeah. Multiple input topic using split function. Okay, the remaining people can exit. I am just taking the queries for 10-15 minutes. Those who wants to learn, you can stay back. Remaining people can exit and work on the questions. So if you are understood the today's topics, you can easily solve or attempt string-based questions. Okay, go through the string-based questions. At least the first 4 or 5 problems you can easily solve. And please read it here. Explore string functions also based on the question. Read the instructions. So maybe by 1st May or 2nd May, I will close this first 15-20 problems to make sure you tell your friends to complete that. And I also found out how to compare whether it is a copied code and all. So please don't copy. That also I can analyze. I'll just show you for your reference. Just for your understanding. Okay, so similar codes from which student you copied, all those things we can identify. Okay, so make sure you are typing by yourself. If it is a copied code, it will show that it is a similar to the other code. Okay, I mean it is exactly copied from that friend's code. So all those we will be analyzing in future training activities. Right now we may not do it, but when you come for a second year training activities, I will be analyzing all that. Okay, try on your own. Please type by yourself. Okay. Somebody asked me what is that? Guys, unmute. Mute yourself. Girls are girls, you know. Input function. So where you have doubt, Satvik? Extend model to May 4. Fine. You just start doing it. Okay. Double slicing once again. Multiple input. Yes, you can unmute yourself. You just let me know what part you didn't understand, Satvik. Then after that, I'll go with this question, double slicing. Yes. We'll go one by one. How to access multiple inputs. That's what, man. So basically, you can enter. You have to mention the number of variables that you want to have, and you can write all the values on the same line. For example, 10 name, 30, something like that, 40. Then to support these many values, I need to have that many variables here on the left side. The right side input function dot split based on the space, single space. Okay, again you can't give multiple space. 10 somewhere at 20 if you enter, it won't be able to recognize that. The single space separated by single space, and to support that many number of values. So just for your understanding, see, I will write, I will execute. What is the first data that I have to enter? Name, right? Name I'll enter GRIET, something like that. Okay, so phone number. Now assume I am entering one more data. For example, I'm entering 890 as another data. What is the error I am getting? Too many values to unpack. Expected 3. So what do you mean by this? There are only 3 variables to take the input data into, but you have given 4 values. So this is a one value, 45 is another value, this is another value, 890 is fourth value, separated by 3 spaces. So you should be very careful how many data you are entering, whether that many data are there as a variable to support and store the, right? So you should have that clarity. So here 3 variables means you should be entering three values separated by single space. So that is multiple input. You are taking multiple input. Next again, suppose marks I'll enter here. Now you can complete ABC 23, phone number, marks. Okay, now again, if I want to do some operation with that marks data, suppose print marks divided by average. Suppose I want to take average. So GRIT 23, phone number, marks data. Again, what is the problem I'm facing? Marks by 60 is giving me error. Why? Because this marks is read as a string data. So I told you, na, you have to convert that marks into int first. Okay. So how do you do that? After reading, you should write marks equal to int of marks. So now you won't face any problem. So you're able to get the average value. So this is how to read the multiple input values. I hope it is clear. If you have any still doubt, you can tell. What ma? If I want to enter 50 integer values. If you want to enter 50 integer values, how do you do it in C? Is this method is feasible? Is this method is feasible if you want to enter 50 values? No, right? Obviously, you have to write 50 variables. So in that case, what you need to use? You have to use the for loop. Inside the for loop, you should mention the range for I in 1 to 50. Then you have to write input function inside the for loop. So whenever your number of values increases, input values increases. So obviously, looping will come into the picture. Okay, so you try this one. This is a good question. So how to read the 50 values in Python? You try this. So ask questions, try to do some changes and modify and try to learn. So double slicing, somebody has doubt, right? So double slicing has a 3 parameters. So one is start, another is stop, and increment step. Okay. So what is my starting index? Then what is my stopping index? Then how many steps I want to go? Suppose I want to jump for 2 steps. Say for example, your name is A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay. So what is my starting index? 2. So 2 means 0, 1, 2. So I'm starting from C, correct? I'll print C on the output. Then what is my increment step value? 2. From here, I have to go to the second character from here. So that means this is the first character, this is the second. So I have jumped to E. So I'll print E on the screen. Now, the next question is, should I be going to F or not? The answer is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can go to F, but excluding F. Right? Suppose if there is one more character here, FG. Should we consider this G? Still no, because my stop index is 5 only. I have to stop at 5. So excluding 5. So my final answer will be C and E only. So this is called as double slicing. So this will tell you until which index data you want to fetch the data. Suppose there are 1000 characters. You want to fetch from 200 to 450. Right? What you will do? You will mention the starting index as 200, terminating index as 450. Then step counter, you can give it 5 or 10. 5 means every fifth character will be printed on the output screen. That is the clarity you need to have. Any doubt still? Double slicing. Last from which program, Ashrita? You want to know this also? So yeah, here what is that? Here is the splitting criteria is hyphen, and how many splits you are doing. Suppose, see, simple in one word I'll explain it. Suppose there is AB hyphen CD hyphen EF. If I make it as give the input parameter as 1 here, that means there will be 2 splits. I mean, this data will be divided into 2 splits. AB is one data, CD hyphen EF is also another data. Suppose if I give the split criteria as 3, so AB is one data, CD is another data, and EF is another data. Okay, so basically 2 means you will be splitting into 3 values. 1 means the data will be split into 2 values. So as simple as that. Okay. Hope Satvik, your doubt is clarified. Anyone? Any doubts still? Yeah, somebody raised the hand, right? How to count number of variables in a given string? What is this question? Do you mean variables or do you mean characters? I don't think string contains variables, correct? What is your question? Please ask. How to count number of variables in a given string? There is no clarity in your question, I think. If you are asking me about how to count the characters, so you can use for loop. For I in range, like this. Something like this. You can start from 0. And first thing is you need to know what is the length of the string. Someone has already posted there. Okay. First, you need to know the length of the string that you want to calculate. Correct. Then what you want to do? You want to check the number of characters, right? So it depends on how your character is there. So obviously your character that you are entering might contain some spaces, special characters. So you need to mention that criteria. If string of I is not equal to, can use space, or if it is not equal to some other character at something like that. Correct. Then you can increment the count values, count equal to count plus 1, something like this. So once this loop is terminated, you can print the total number of characters. There are functions to count how many times single character is repeated also. How to take sentence as input from user. So using split function, you can do it. You can try with the split function only. Split function is the solution. Space separated input, you can give the separate criteria. The separator, you can give it as a space only, right? By default, you are giving it as a space. Or you can store them into different, there are advanced functions actually, if you want to do it. That I will be covering in coming classes. Like there are topics like map functions, generators, iterators. So I will, in detail, I will tell you about that. Right now, you just try Suryateja, whether you can do it with the split function or not. There is a solution for this, but I want you to try. If you are able to get the answer, it's fine. But if you are not able to do, you can come and meet me. What was the function that I used to print GRIET? Where? Where, ma?
So in the last program,
Here.
yes.
Normal print function.
So initially we got all exclamatory marks.
That one. Okay. So it is a left justified output. Left justified output means you will start printing from left side of the screen. You will print whatever existing characters, but remaining characters you don't have. So total length is 10. The remaining characters are replaced by colon, so that it fills the 10 as a width. They are just formatting functions. Okay. So I think we can wind up for the day. Any doubts, you can come and meet me. No issue. Today also some people met me, not an issue. You can come anytime. You'll be able to discuss in detail in the college. Okay. Yeah, these are all kind of questions you will get in the interview. So if you give GRIET 1, 2, 3 as an input, then how to count only number of letters input. Okay. Just not C just and R just and center. You try this if you don't have the solution, come and wait. I don't want to give all the solution in the class only. This is an important question actually. All these kind of problems I'll make. Did you try that? Just try it, okay? This kind of thoughts you need to get when you learn all these functions. And then the next step is to try by yourself. So if you still not get, we will be there. Also, some people tried and they were getting errors. So today we discussed. Many people met me actually. So come up with your solution. In that, if you are getting error, I'll help you. To type full code, it is not possible, right? Full day also, if you do it, it is not going to cover it. So I want you guys to try first, get some errors, get some feedback, come up with the questions. That is a good way to learn. Most of you will get the doubts and want to find the immediately answer. Without trying, you can't. Have to sit and work. You have to sit and work. Then only we can learn. Correct? Fine. We are exceeding already 8. So all the best. Enjoy your holidays and please fill the form. If you are interested, fine. Not interested, also not an issue. So it is just a survey. It is not any feedback like it will be taken seriously if you say no or something like that. Just honestly feedback if you want to participate summer vacation. Fine. Okay. I see you in the next session.